Dave Yoder said, can we see your Boba Fett costume? And I have a Boba Fett costume I've been working on for years. And it's mostly done. But yeah, I'll show you a piece of my Boba Fett costume. I'll show you the bucket. Here is my Boba helmet. It is a lovely bucket. I like the paint job. I may redo this paint job. I feel like the finish is just a little too matte for me. However, it's a good looking bucket. I didn't build this. I didn't paint this. And I must tell you, I am ignorant as to who the original maker of this is. However, I'm guessing half a dozen of you watching already know who this is. That like institutional knowledge you'll possess. I will eventually wear my Boba out in the world, but I actually think there may be a Mando first. It's hard to say. That is most everything. Oh, except for my Chewie, my bowcaster. Yeah, this is my Chewie's bowcaster. It is a little bit of a mix up and a mashup. This is not the correct bandolier sling, but I really like this bandolier sling, so I'm going with it. These balls are a little large. I think these are more like Force Awakens than the original trilogy. But again, I don't mind that. The best thing about this is that it is largely machined pieces and real parts. It's largely real parts and machine pieces by me. So it has a weight. It is really durable. Like you can throw this around. It is not going to, it's not going to ding. Well, it's not going to break. It's going to ding realistically, but it's not going to break. Yeah. I guess it's incumbent on me to break Chewbacca out again since I have recently rebuilt his bowcaster. And well, I mean, I don't need any excuse to dress up as Chewbacca, right? Like just anytime it's necessary, let's go. I'm ready to go, coach. Send me in. Somebody actually, just since I was talking about bandoliers on the RPF, somebody on the RPF sent me a pair of, let's see, where are they? Here they are. Patrick Fitzgerald sent me a pair of the original microphone elements. Here, let's open these up and take a look at them. I can do this on the close-up. Of the original microphone elements that are on Chewie's bandolier. And I plan to do an install of those. This is a part that has been, like everyone knows what part it's from. It's easy to imitate. It is a fairly straightforward bit of machining. But I never imagined I'd have the real thing on my bandolier. That's awesome. Patrick says the element with the darker mesh, okay, so there's two of them, came from a Ronette MM.65 harp mic, and the element with slightly lighter mesh came from a Voice of Music bullet harp mic. Wow. Yeah. These microphone elements were made at a company called Ronette of Hollywood and were used in a handful of different housings offered by a variety of brands. This is the kind of esoteric research, esoteric decentralized research that I love fandoms for. Going out and figuring out that the control panels on the side of Han's carbonite containment vessel are actually the backsides of a Volvo dashboard. That took like 30 years for people to figure out what that part was. And now, I mean, there's somebody on the RPF who injection molds identical replicas of the Volvo dashboard. So just like imagine, like somewhere in the 70s, some Volvo engineers designed and built a dashboard. And then some of those guys look up and 40 some odd years later, there are people replicating this one esoteric part to make their hand in carbonite. That's both ludicrous and awesome. I mean, yeah, fills my heart with gladness. I think that is all this. Oh yeah, I've got my first order helmet. This is the Anovos fancy version. And even still, I think I replaced a couple things on it. I actually replaced this little element with a hand machine piece. It is beautifully padded inside. And I have a set of first order trooper armor. And this is another one I have not Troop did. This is another costume I have a troop in. I've done a regular stormtrooper, but not First Order. So that may be another one that comes up soon. Yeah. The Star Wars universe is just a source of endless amount of happiness and fun adventure for me. Don't get me wrong, it's a dystopia. It's a dystopic fantasy. It's totally a dystopia, but it's such fertile, wonderful territory. I've been actually watching episodes of The Mandalorian again because I just cannot wait for the next season. Yeah, it's a great costume, great show. So that is a quick show and tell of some of my Star Wars pieces here in the cave. And in preparation for May the 4th, many of you have submitted questions. And during this live stream, I may get some more questions. And yeah, we're going to answer them here. The first one I'm going to answer, it's got a good story. The Void PT. I think I know you guys. The Void PT asks, it's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. Have you ever got into a friendly lightsaber fight that got out of hand? I did not, but I have suffered from a lightsaber battle that got out of hand. The year is, I think I'm going to guess 2006. Whatever year the Sony Bravia 40-inch television came out, the one with that commercial of the bouncing balls pouring down one of San Francisco's hills, that television. And by the way, side story, my friend Dave lives on that hill and said that they broke so many windows. They were going around just paying people for fixing their windows. They had a standard fee, which is like very reasonable amount of dough. And they were like, after they did that shot, they just went up and down the block giving people vouchers for a real sum of money to fix whatever windows that broke. And Dave also told me that 10 years later, he still was pulling rubber balls out of the garden. At any rate, whatever year that Sony released the Sony Bravia television, we were doing Mythbusters and it was now a full hit. And I think we had recently negotiated a good salary. And I decided for my 40th birthday, oh, right, it was my 40th birthday. So it's 2007. I decided for my 40th birthday to buy myself the Bravia television set. So I went to Best Buy and I bought the television set. There's another story to tell you here, which is everybody has a story about some famous douchebag who says to them, "Do you know who I am?" Like everyone has that story. And as someone who has enjoyed a little bit of fame, I will tell you, I have never said, "Do you know who I am?" except for once. And it was buying this television. So I'm in Best Buy. I'm talking to the guy. He's a fan. He's excited to be selling me a television. I'm excited to buy this television. And I'm like, that's the one. That's the one I want. The Sony. Box it up. Let's put it in my car. And we're getting ready to do it. And this other salesman comes up and goes, "Are you plugging that into the wall?" And I'm like, that was my plan. It's an appliance. Runs on 110. He says, "You're going to need a power scrubber for that." And I'm thinking about the switching power supply that's probably in this television and the robustness of Sony's power switching capabilities, given the high-end nature of their products. And I think to myself, no, I don't need a power scrubber. The power that comes out of the wall is just fine. And I said, I don't need a power scrubber. And he said, "Oh yeah, you're definitely going to need a power scrubber." And there was a pause while we were all sort of standing there being quiet. And I said, "You know who I am, right?" And he went, "Yeah, you don't need a power scrubber." The only time I ever said, "Do you know who I am?" it was to cease an upsell conversation. And to be fair, those guys were awesome. And you'll find out how awesome they were in a minute. So I brought home the Sony Bravia. I was living down in Sunnyside, San Francisco, near City College. And I put it up on the wall of our television room. And it was beautiful. It was like one of the first big, beautiful, luscious, gorgeous, bright flat screens, man. Sitting there was like incredible. Next morning, my boys at that point, it's 2007, they're 8 years old. And I get woken up at like 5:30 in the morning by thing one. Pokes me and he says, Oh, Dad, we were having a lightsaber battle. Because I had the lightsabers, I had the master replicas with lightsabers that lit up. I had a few of them, and the boys really liked them, and they were part of part of a lot of the play in the house, right? So he wakes me up at 5 in the morning and says, we were having a lightsaber battle, and we accidentally smacked the TV, the new TV. And my morning brain is taking in this information along with waking up at the same time, and I'm like, oh shit, that's bad. And then I think, what is the worst case scenario? Okay, the worst case scenario, I know what that is, but maybe it's not as bad as that. Maybe they just knocked the speaker grill off. So I said, rubbing my eyes, what happened? And thing one said, something colorful. It's the greatest description of what happened, because when I went downstairs, sure enough, in the middle of this brand new, I think at the time, $4,000 television. It was an obscene amount of money to spend on a television. But I was new to television money. I was excited. At any rate, in the middle of this ridiculously expensive television is this perfect rosebud of death where the lightsaber smacked the screen right in the middle, completely destroying the entire television. So sad, so intense. Oh, man. What am I going to do? I'm not going to yell and scream. This is one of those ones that it goes all the way past all of that. And you're just like, crap. So, yeah. So because it was my 40th birthday and I was like, I want this television, I went back to Best Buy and they gave me a employee discount for getting the television again. They tried to upsell me on the repair program, and I said, will that help me replace the screen if my boys do this again? And they said, no. And I said, I don't need your repair program. I know I spend way more on that television than I ever should have. But again, like I said, I was new to television money and I was excited and I was turning 40 and it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. But yes, the Void PT, that is how I suffered from a lightsaber battle. Oh, I'll tell you one other parenting thing that came out of that was really interesting. So when you have young kids, you don't get to sleep in for what feels like forever, because young kids wake up, teenagers will sleep until the world has collapsed. But young kids are they're ready to go every day at 5:30, 6 in the morning, and it's freaking exhausting. So, you look for the spaces of rest as a parent where you can find them. And television is frequently a very reasonable babysitter when you're a tired parent. And that was one of my methods, right? And I wake up and watch Teletubbies. That's fine. Just get out of my hair. Go watch, what did they watch? Willy Wonka, probably 300 times. And sorry, right. The whole point of this was I did actually punish the boys for breaking the television. And the punishment was no television for the summer. And that seemed pretty extreme, but it also felt proportional to them busting the television. And here's the thing about no television for the summer is it made these young boys much easier to deal with in the mornings. I was trying to sleep in and asking them, go watch TV and I'll get to relax a little more. But watching television in the mornings would wind them up a bit and they would be sort of it's almost like you fed too much of their desire to not be bored. Right? So almost like I fed too much of their desire not to be bored with television. And once I removed it, they were actually, Saturdays and Sundays with them was much more graceful and easy. They were less temperamental. They were less, they fought with each other less. And I'm not saying this is a harbinger of television being terrible by any means. I love television. I watch crap tons of it. I've made crap tons of it. And, as a babysitter, it's still a key parenting babysitter. I'm sorry to say, I that's just the reality. But them not watching television for the summer made them so easy to deal with. We never again let them watch television on the weekends, in the mornings. Wouldn't let them start the day like that, because it just made the whole time together as a family easier when they didn't start the day out like that. Yeah, that's a little parenting lesson I learned from the same escapade. Yeah, that was a long one.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. If you'd like to further support us here at Tested, one of the best ways you can do it is through a Tested membership. And there's a link below as to the various levels of Tested membership, but it's so much more than just exclusive videos. There are exclusive videos, but there are also live stream, Q&As, and the thing that I love most about the Tested members is the interactivity, the wonderful communication between not just me and Tested members, but our whole Tested team. Every single day it feels more and more like a community just devoted to the joys of making things. So join yourself up and become one of us.